Americans are craving political innovation. With a system gridlocked by bitter partisanship and often paralyzed in the face of urgent challenges, frustration has reached a boiling point. The message from the people is clear. They are tired of the same old politics. They want bold, transformative change, and they want it now. While trust in the federal government has hit rock bottom, the story changes when you zoom in. The closer politics gets to people's daily lives, the stronger trust becomes. State governments earn a bit more faith, but it's local governments, where citizens can more clearly feel the impact of politics, that earn the most trust. Americans are eager to play an active role in shaping key decisions that affect their lives. According to the data, 73% believe it is somewhat or very important to have greater direct involvement in governance. Americans are significantly more passionate about direct involvement than citizens in France, the UK, or Germany. A 2019 survey revealed overwhelming support for innovative ways to boost local civic engagement. In today's video, we're going to take a look at one of the most promising and tested innovations: participatory budgeting. Imagine having a direct say in how your city spends its money, deciding what gets funded in your community, from parks to schools to public transit. That's exactly what participatory budgeting, or PB, is all about. It's a democratic process where everyday people, not just politicians, decide how to allocate a portion of the public budget. Unlike traditional budgeting, PB invites residents to collaborate and propose ideas, turning their vision for a better community into actionable projects. There isn't one cookie-cutter way to execute a successful participatory budgeting process, but there is a generally accepted cadence to how these projects unfold. So far, PB initiatives seem to be most successful at the municipal or regional levels of government, where citizens are more attuned to the issues being discussed. The first major step is determining the amount of the government's discretionary budget that will be dictated by the citizens. Recent participatory budgeting projects have varied significantly in terms of their overall spend and their spend per citizen. Once the budget is determined, a group of volunteers or local politicians typically act as facilitators for the process, but ideally, they do not influence the process outside of planning and logistics. First, there's the idea collection phase, where residents brainstorm project ideas to improve their neighborhoods. Any citizen is invited to submit ideas. Think of it like a giant community brainstorming session. There might be open community workshop sessions, online portals, surveys, or direct outreach to local civic organizations. Next comes the budget delegate phase, where volunteers, called budget delegates, work with city officials to refine those ideas into feasible project proposals. They review the submissions and group them together to reduce redundancy and ensure clarity. They research feasibility and costs and turn viable submissions into full project proposals. Then, in the voting phase, the refined projects are put to a vote, and the entire community gets to decide which ones should move forward. Sometimes, the voting phase might include people from the community who aren't typically allowed to vote in federal elections, like youth and non-citizens. Finally, in the project implementation phase, the government funds and executes the winning projects. PB got its start in 1989 in Porto Alegre, Brazil. At the time, the city was experiencing rapid growth and faced severe inequality and a struggling economy. Marxist-Leninist socialism was growing in popularity among the citizens, who were dissatisfied with their representative government. In response, the newly elected Workers' Party implemented participatory budgeting as a way to balance the institutions of representative democracy with the direct participation of citizens. The results were transformative. Public housing units grew from just 1,700 in 1986 to 27,000 by the end of 1989. Connection to sewage systems skyrocketed from 75% of the population to 98% by 1997. The number of schools quadrupled by 1996, and health spending grew from 13% of the city's budget in 1985 to 40% in 1996. Since then, PB has spread to over 7,000 cities worldwide. Let's take a look at a few examples of PB in action. Participatory budgeting in Paris has become a global standout since its launch in 2014. With a budget of 500 million euros earmarked for 2014 to 2020, PB in Paris allows residents to decide how 5% of the city's total investment budget is spent. This level of commitment translates to almost 50 euros per resident annually. That's 10 times more than cities like New York or Seoul. The process includes citywide PB projects, initiatives in all 20 districts, targeted programs for low-income neighborhoods and schools. Citizens propose ideas, which are refined through workshops and feasibility studies before being put to a vote. Participation has soared from 40,000 voters in 2014 to over 92,000 by 2016. In just 3 years, over 400 projects have been approved, addressing urban challenges and fostering creativity. Some notable examples include urban greening projects, where 40 vertical gardens and 212 school gardens were built. Sustainability projects include shared urban farms and no-car transport zones. And social equity projects involved €4.4 million for homelessness. Challenges remain, particularly around mobilizing broader participation and integrating PB into Paris's large, hierarchical administration, yet PB has significantly modernized governance and strengthened civic engagement. Participatory budgeting has been a cornerstone of civic engagement in New York City since its first implementation in 2011 by city council members. In 2021, the New York City Civic Engagement Commission launched the People's Money, the city's first ever citywide PB program, open to all New Yorkers aged 11 and older, regardless of immigration status. This initiative allows residents to decide how to spend part of the city's budget to address community needs. In the program's first year, 46 community-driven projects were funded across the 5 boroughs, addressing pressing issues such as mental health, food security, housing, and education. The Bronx Works intergenerational program fostered relationships between youth and seniors through the arts, cooking, and wellness activities. Participants reported a 78% increase in their cultural awareness. The Door Bronx Youth Center's financial literacy workshops helped youth increase their confidence in managing money from 52% to 89%, and employment readiness from 8% to 100%. And the South Queens Women's March mental health workshops reduced stigma among Indo-Caribbean and South Asian families, with 53% of participants reporting a higher likelihood of seeking mental health services. The second year of PB drew nearly 140,000 votes, with 35,000 ballots cast in languages other than English, reflecting New York City's diverse population. Projects were selected to ensure equity and impact, particularly in underserved neighborhoods. Despite its successes, PB in New York City faces challenges such as limited funding, reduced to only $3.5 million in 2024, and sustaining project impacts beyond their initial implementation year. Efforts to expand youth engagement and involve historically underrepresented communities are ongoing. Participatory budgeting in Seoul, South Korea began in 2012, transforming citizen involvement in municipal finances. With a population exceeding 10 million, Seoul allocated 5% of its annual city budget, approximately $87 million in some years, to citizen-decided projects. This initiative aimed to improve the alignment of city expenditures with public priorities, while increasing government transparency and accountability. Since its launch, Seoul has completed hundreds of projects that directly address citizen needs. These include public safety projects, like the installation of over 4,000 CCTV cameras in neighborhoods, reducing crime rates by 30%, and transportation projects, like dedicated bike lanes and improvements to pedestrian walkways, increasing commuter safety, and green spaces, including 20 urban parks and tree planting initiatives, enhancing air quality and recreational opportunities for citizens, and social services. Establishment of affordable childcare centers benefiting over 10,000 families annually. Seoul's PB model has engaged over 50,000 residents every year, with participation spanning diverse demographics. This inclusivity fosters trust and civic pride while ensuring that public funds are allocated equitably. Despite its successes, Seoul's PB initiative faces some hurdles. These include representation, where initial participation skewed towards middle-aged and affluent citizens and required targeted outreach to include marginalized communities, and complexity. Understanding and navigating the budgetary details remains challenging for many citizens. And finally, sustainability, where balancing the long-term maintenance of funded projects with new proposals tends to strain resources. Seoul's participatory budgeting highlights the potential of direct democracy to create meaningful change, proving that empowered citizens can shape urban landscapes to better reflect their needs and aspirations. In many Western democracies today, citizens feel disconnected from their government. They don't trust politicians, they don't agree with the way government spends money, and they are becoming increasingly frustrated or disengaged. Participatory budgeting addresses many of those challenges directly. Studies show that PB strengthens communities and builds trust in government, something that is badly needed these days. It can also help engage younger generations, improving their understanding of resource limitations and the importance of prioritizing public expenses. This process not only educates citizens, but also enhances transparency and accountability in government spending. Studies have also shown PB initiatives have the potential to improve health and well-being, can lead to increased investments in education, and foster stronger community bonds and enhance overall community well-being. But PB isn't a magical cure for everything that ails our politics. If PB initiatives are to be successful and influence meaningful change, they must focus on a few key principles. These include defining specific and measurable objectives for PB initiatives to define what success looks like and allow others to copy and improve the process. To implement measures to protect PB processes from political corruption or subversion and ensure transparency and accountability. PB projects need to secure sufficient funding and community volunteers to support the effective implementation and sustainability of PB initiatives, and they need to design digital PB platforms that are accessible to all community members to prevent exclusion and make it easier for everybody to engage with the process in the first place. And that leads us to the most important principle. They need to employ strategies to boost citizen participation, such as community outreach and education, to make participatory budgeting a well-known and accepted part of the democratic process for all citizens. As we continue to explore strategies and ideas to improve how the government works for the people, it's important to remember that not every innovation has to be an entirely new and revolutionary concept. Sometimes, the best methods already exist, like participatory budgeting, and they just need to gain more awareness, or maybe they need to be refined, and then the process can make a big difference. Participatory budgeting is more than a policy tool. It's a pathway to a more inclusive and engaged democracy. By empowering citizens to take an active role in shaping their communities, PB strengthens trust, fosters equity, and creates tangible improvements in public services. As its global success stories demonstrate, when implemented thoughtfully and inclusively, PB can address systemic challenges and inspire a new era of grassroots-driven governance. The future of democracy lies in participation, and participatory budgeting offers a proven way to bring people back into the heart of decision-making. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Politics Reimagined to join us on this journey of exploration and innovation. Together, let's turn the failures of today into the solutions of tomorrow.